I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I come week in, week out to prophesy the downfall of America, which is known in the Bible by different spiritual names, from the spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Babylon, right? All of the spirits from all of these ancient captivities that had us in bondage and subjection, that oppressed us. Guess what? The spirit of those different societies and those different kingdoms, hey, they're in power today. And at the forefront of all of the wickedness that's being permeated throughout the entire earth, you have America, right? That's why in the Bible, you won't find the word America. But like it says in Matthew 13:10, hey, the mysteries that are encapsulated and found in the Bible is only given to one people to understand, right? And that's pursuant to Psalm 147:19. That's the children of Israel. Right, in this present time, the children of Israel are scattered in every land, speaking every tongue, as pursuant to Deuteronomy 28:64. So, therefore, the children of Israel are scattered in every land. Therefore, they will be gathered out of every land. Right, and hey, you know who the children of Israel are? Jacob is our patriarch, right? Whose name was changed to Israel. That's why we're known as the Israelites. But one thing about that seed line of Abraham, Isaac, down to Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, you will know who they are in the earth by the conditions that they were foretold and prophesied to be in at this time. Right? So this is how the gathering will be placed. The gathering will take place through the word. Right? Hey, so we want to open up by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Shem, Yahweh Shah, by Shem, Rakakadash. Yahweh, that's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because in the Bible, there are promises given to a chosen people, an oath that was made with the Most High God and these different patriarchs, right? And it said that in Genesis 17:19, the promises, the covenants, they were made with these people, right? And these people right now, they are being judged by the law because they are truly the only people that are under the law. The only people that are subject by the law, that can actually sin. And in this present time, we know who the Lord's people are primarily by discerning archaeology, anthropology, and prophecy of the scriptures. The Lord's people are so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans of Negroid and Indian descent in this present time, as well as those that are scattered. Right? Hey, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. Many blessings to you brothers that are laboring in true faith and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. Right? Yahweh, that's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There are many gods, but the Most High God, the God of the heavens and the earth, that's Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, written in the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter. He doesn't have a beginning or an end, the Most High power. That's why his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, was sent as the Alpha, the beginning, and Omega. Because in Genesis 1:26, when it said, come and let us make man, guess who was there with him? Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Right? Acts 5:29. Hey, Shalom, brother. Acts 5:29 lets you know that our Lord and Savior came in the flesh.
Shalom,
right?
That's Israelite.
Yes, sir. Shalom.
What does that mean, brother?
Say again?
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
Shalom.
Shalom means peace.
Shalom.
Shalom. That's how. Shalom. Yes, sir. Yeah. How you doing today, brother? Good. Just like, you see how me and his brother, hey, he said alhamdulillah, right? Yeah. Hey, we say Lord willing, or Yahweh Ratazah. The Muslims, they say Inshallah. Yeah, right? Right. But this is an Israelite custom. You see, this is a Greek custom. You see, this how the so-called white man shake hands. This is an Israelite custom. Like this. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's just his brother. Maybe that may be something y'all probably started, but it's just something in the spirit.
Yeah.
They hit me to do like this when I talk to him.
Yeah, but this is an Israelite custom.
A brother like me, for some reason, I do this.
Right. And you got to understand, shalom, that's what those Yiddish people say. Right? Because you have an Israeli and an Israelite.
But you know why I do this?
But just real quick.
Okay.
What separates an Israeli from an Israelite? An Israeli is just someone dwelling in that land. Like those people that call themselves Jews and are not, written of in Revelation 2:9. in Revelation 3 and 9, right? They stole our identity. They're in our land, and right now they subscribe to the Kabbalah and the Talmud, right? When they subscribe to the religion of Judaism. This is not religion that we're pushing, but one thing about them, they speak a mixture of a perverted, German plus Jewish, or what you call Hebrew. They call it Yiddish, where it has vowels like A-E-I-O-U. So they say shalom, but we say shalom. Why? Because we practice and we rehearse and speak in the Assyrian and the Assyrian Hebrew, essentially, right? This is our customs and our heritage. So as we come back into the knowledge of who we are as Hebrew Israelites, one aspect of it is the Most High gave us a language, a pure language, that, hey, we will be able to tap into in the land of our captivity. This was a prophecy. They made it illegal for us to read and write at one point.
Can I say something?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, a black queen once said, I heard this black queen, she said when we first came to this country, the black man was looked at as a boy. You know what I mean? That's what you was less than a man. So when you hit this land, you got to understand, when we came over here as plunder.
As what?
As plunder.
Plunders.
Yeah, plunder.
What you mean? Like loot and plunder?
Oh yeah, loot and plunder.
No,
yeah, exactly. Hold on.
When you said we came over here.
No, when we came over here plunder. But see, you got two kinds.
What do you mean, rape, rob? Or when you say we came over here plunder? I'm trying to get an understanding of what you're saying, because I actually have an audience that you're speaking to, and I want to make sure that the point that you're trying to make is properly conveyed so they understand you.
Okay. I'm about to explain myself.
You come a little closer, right?
Okay. Plunder means, compensation for war. Whether it's mental war, whether it's physical war. It's the word plunder. If I beat you in war mentally, or if I beat you physically, that means whatever I gained that was your possession, whether your prized possessions or whatever, things that was dear to you.
The spoils of war.
Basically. You know what I mean? That's called plunder, my brother. You know what I mean? So
that's called booty. Plunder is exactly what people do. That's the act that's imposed on the people.
The men.
So you can say we were plundered, but we're not plundered.
The men were killed.
Right.
The children was enslaved.
Right.
And the women were booty.
Right.
If they didn't go along with what was going on, they killed them along with the men. But the ones that submitted, along with the little babies, that's all plunder and everything else that the kingdom had as far as their riches, possessions, and stuff like that.
Right.
That's what I was saying as far as the word plunder, brother.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
you were just using it out of context.
Okay,
right?
well, no
that's
problem.
all good.
No problem.
The English language is a bastardized language, so, we are constantly, having to be edified and be taught and retaught and go into etymology of words so we can be more proficient in teaching. Because, what good do your words do if men can't understand you? You got to be able to effectively communicate. Because a lot of people, they believe in the scriptures, but they don't really have the proper understanding. Just like you were speaking on black and queen, right? Israel never had any queens. The only time Israel had a queen, one is Esther. She was married to a heathen, right? And, but as far as Israel, we had princesses. And when you're dealing with the terminology like black, that's a proverb and a byword, a misnomer that was put on our people to denote that they don't have an identity. When you're calling yourself by color classifications like red, yellow, black, white, right? That's a man by the name of Johann Friedrich Blumenbach that came up with these color classifications based on men's craniums, right? So these are cunningly devised fables that our people covering cast, that the so-called white man, that's the covering cast that the so-called white man put over the nations, right? That's why it says the earth is covered in gross darkness in Isaiah 60. Why? Because the father of lies, what he's taught to the people that he's subjugated, that he's oppressed, that he's terrorized, he's told them lies about who they truly are. Because when you're dealing with so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans of Negroid and Indian descent, our true history book is found in the Bible, right? A lot of our people will subscribe to the religion of Islam, right? Those Arabs that had us in subjection during the what? Sub-Saharan slave trade, right? In the interiors of Africa. now those same Arabs that call us Abid in their mosque, right? They don't want to, Abid, which means slave, just like the so-called Chinese man, the white man, they all have derogatory terms and names that they call us here, especially the so-called black Americans. The same thing holds true. When you're looking at a lot of these delis, a lot of restaurants, they're ran by the Arabs, right? And that's what they say, that they only eat halal, right? But they call it, what's the opposite of halal? Haram. Haram is forbidden. But they don't smoke cigarettes, they don't sell weed, they don't eat pork. But in these delis where they call you brother and allow you to go worship their false God, Allah, hey, they'll sell you pork, they'll sell you cigarettes, they'll sell you blunts, right? But the true knowledge of the Bible for so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true knowledge is not the knowledge of the Ishmaelites. And let me bring this out real quick in the book of Genesis 17. Yeah, you can say it, but it's my platform.
We can sing together. We can sing together. We can't.
All right, but hey, this is my platform.
I just want to say,
let me bring this out real quick to substantiate my point.
Okay.
And then I'll give it to you. No, right, Genesis. Thank you for your patience, brother. Because we come out here to minister, not to be ministered unto. We are more than able to listen to the general public, but we want to edify y'all out of the scripture. This is the start of the show. Not me, not you, but hey, let the Most High be true and every man a liar. Okay, Genesis 17 and 19 says, and God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, because hey, Ishmael, he was born by Abraham's wife named Hagar, right? The Ishmael, he's the father of the modern day Arabs. When you're dealing with Mohammedanism and Islam, guess what? Ishmael, he's the progenitor and the father of the so-called Arabs. But what did it say as it pertains to Ishmael and his seed? It said, and as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and I will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall be he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, and with Sarah shall bear unto thee at this time in the next year, right? So here it is letting you know that the covenants, the promise, the giving of the law, the kingdom to come is established with the child of the free woman, Sarah. But as it pertains to the child of the bondwoman, Hagar, and her son Ishmael, it's letting you know that it will be 12 princes to come out of Ishmael. This is why in the United Arab Emirates, in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in the so-called Middle East, which is not a country but rather two directions, that's why they have great power. They have representation in the earth, right? Those sheiks and those different men of renown in those Arab countries, those kings, those princes, guess what? They have a direct relationship with the Vatican, right? They go to the Vatican and they bend the knee. Why? Because all major religions, Christianity as it's practiced here in these plantation Christian church, Islam, Judaism, Catholicism, it all flows out of the Vatican, including Islam, right? The so-called Mohammedanism, right? The book from Babylon to Timbuktu goes into how the progenitor of the Islam faith, Muhammad, was actually set up by a wealthy woman by the name of Khadijah, right? Even inside of the Quran, you could go into different surahs and different duhas and let you know that Muhammad, he actually married a girl at the age of 13 years old named Aisha, right? So he was a known pedophile and he was illiterate, right? The book Babylon and Timbuktu lets you know when they had a God for every day of the year, right? We brought them into monotheism, right? Into that worship of one God.
Okay, all right. I gotta cut you off.
Go ahead.
First of all, people, when you become whatever religion you is, whether you're Israelite,
it's not religion.
Well, I'm just saying, whether you're Israelite, whether you're Christian, or if you're Muslim, whatever, you do it for an individual relationship because of God.
Now,
you want a relationship. Hold up, you want a creation. You want a relationship with the Creator of heaven and earth. Okay. Now, what black people talking about?
We not black.
Well, whatever kind of religion, whatever you're talking about, politics. Now, just like in the ancient days, they had politics. The word politics, it was called the curse of Ham. That's what everybody followed today.
That's Mormonism.
Well, what they could call it, you can put it in all the stuff you just said. The curse of Ham is what they ended up forced it upon us because we had darker skin.
That's Mormonism,
But
Joseph Smith.
I'm
That's a
gonna say
lie.
this right here: if you believe in the Creator of heaven and earth, no matter what you call him, no matter your interpretation,
Yeah.
but get you a relationship.
It said, hallowed be thy name.
Get
It
you a
does matter what you call him.
relationship with the Creator of heaven and earth. Get a personal relationship. Everybody got God's phone number.
Does he have
Get
a
you a
name?
personal
Does he
relationship.
have a name?
He got plenty of names.
No.
Many names.
No.
Look, we had.
He has one name.
They said that it was one language.
Only one name,
But
one
then
name is in
they
the earth.
say
that
God.
men
They
can
say
call on and be
they
saved.
say God split the
One name.
They say God and the angels split the
He's
split the
pushing a
languages
heresy.
up.
Let
He
me
split
bring this out in the
languages
book of
up.
Galatians.
But I'm gonna say this right
Right?
here.
And he had a
You don't
chosen
talk.
people.
You don't already talk.
Hey, this is my platform.
Listen, I understand,
right?
but you already talk.
Hey,
listen, get a
it
personal
said that
relationship
he divided
with
the nations.
God.
Why? Because he
Get
had
you
a
a
chosen
personal
people.
relationship with the
It
Creator
ain't
of
about
heaven
no
and
personal
earth.
relationship.
Once you get a
Hey,
personal
this is
relationship
joining
with the
to the
Creator of
chosen.
heaven
This is
heaven
Deuteronomy
and earth,
7:6.
you'll be
For
all right.
thou art an holy
There's
people
one thing about
unto
it.
the Lord thy power.
One thing
The
about
Lord thy power
We
hath
all-
chosen
we
thee
all-
to
we
be a
all are
special
judged
people unto
in
himself.
division.
Above all people, above the face of
you
the
will be
earth.
judged
So when he said
individually.
it was right, at the
You
Tower
wake
of
up
Babel, the
individually.
Most High did come
When
and
you breathe
confound
the
the
breath of
nation.
life, when you
But
breathe
when he
God,
divided the
you
nation,
wake up
he chose one
individually.
people. And he gave that one people a name to call him on in their captivity. Hey, that spirit is on me today. Hey, if you want to contend, come up and let us reason together. But once you start pushing damnable heresies and lies, hey, that's what we are told. To cry loud and spare not. Just because these niggas think they have the truth, if you're not pulling the precept, we're out here to correct you, right? He wanted to build on the foundation and he wanted to start using terms like black and queen. No, once you start using those terms, you're letting us know that you're in the congregation of the dead. Wisdom is a principal thing, but with all thy getting, get understanding. If you're bearing witness that you're an Israelite, but you're still using terms like black, queen, white, African, that's to denote that you truly haven't awakened to your true biblical nationality. Let me bring this out. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 2. It reads, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power has chosen thee to be a particular people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The brother was telling the truth, but with no understanding, he cut himself. The Most High came and confounded the nations at the Tower of Babel. When, guess what? Men were speaking one language. We all spoke Hebrew. And they were trying to build a stairway to heaven. So yes, the Most High came down, and amongst the people, he set the borders of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Right? It says that in the book of Numbers 1:18. Right? The earth was made for our sake. There's been a chosen people from the foundations of the earth. But post-flood, right? But after the flood, when our people were under that Babylonian system, so-called Sumerians, right? This is Abraham's father and them, that generation that the Most High had to come and separate the land, give people their own borders. But guess what? Out of all of the people that he divided, he chose a people unto himself, right? Let me bring this out real quick in the book of Deuteronomy 32:8, and it reads, when the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Right? You come on in, brother. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. How you doing? It said Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Get this in Joel 2:27 real quick, Baba Kusha. Because, hey, you know, am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Our God is a God of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, not confusion. And when you're speaking and you're trying to edify, right? I gave my opportunity, your 5 seconds of fame to edify. It was whole in your argument because the terms that you're using are terms reserved for dead people. He started talking about black queen when he came up. Oh, there are no queens in Israel. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I brought up Queen Esther, right? How she entreated a heathen that married her at that time. Right? But hey, we're called a nation of princes and princes. Right? Kings and priests. Right? But Joel, the book of Joel is going to substantiate and pretty much echo Deuteronomy 32:8. You can bring it up.
This is Joel 2:27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed.
Hey, he's in the midst of Israel. And then get this in Sirach 17:17. Because we just want to continue to ride, because he walked up and he was saying these Muslim greetings to denote that he was in darkness. Psalms 119 and 104 says, through thy precepts we get understanding. Therefore we hate every false way. Once I start seeing all of the what's the language of the Islam? Arabic. Once I start seeing all this Arabic writing on them, and he start talking all of this Allah stuff, hey, my mind and our spirit is to do what? Defend the gospel. Let them know, hey brother, you are following the false way, and do our best to edify him and try to save him. Because right now he's making atonements to Allah. We say Shalom, he want to give me an Arabic greeting. When I was telling them the truth that those Arabs do not deal with you niggas. Psalms 83 and 3 said the nations are confederate against us. And is Ishmael one of those nations that are confederate against us? Hey, it just said that in the book of Romans. Ishmael is at war with us to this day. Why? Because they know that we both spring forth from the loins of Abraham. Right? Yep, the sub-Saharan slave trade. I went into that. Right, you can bring out what you got, Sirach 17.
Sirach 17 and 17. For in the division of the nations, the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people.
Right, so the Most High set a ruler over people. Look at the Koreans. Look at the Japanese. Right? Look at all these different nations. They have representation at the United Nations. Right? They have what you call sovereignty in the earth. Right? They have representation. You can bring this out from the top.
Sirach 17 and 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth,
how you doing, Esau?
He set a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Lord's portion.
It said Israel is the Lord's portion. Get this in 2 Ezra 6 and 54. Because our people don't want to be chosen, and what makes us chosen? We're going to get this in 2 Ezra 5 and 23 in a minute. Is the Most High giving us a law approved of all. But our people are lawless. They're against the law. They're rebellious. Right? They do not like order. They don't like to be corrected. They're proud. Why? Because they've been under the tutelage of the so-called white man. See, he looks at himself as God. So what can you tell the white man he can't do? The white man makes laws for you to follow. Right? So our people think that he's beyond reproach. But the so-called white man is a creature. And surely he's going to be taken out of the way. Why? Because there's something more powerful than the white man. You brought what you got.
2 Ezra 6 and 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all.
Right, because we all come from Adam. We have a similar origin as far as patriarch. Right, go ahead.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
Right, so of the world family, the people that come of Adam, the Most High has a chosen people. Bring this out one more time.
And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all.
Good. I see you in a minute, man. How you been?
I've been around. Been good in yourself.
Man, I see you in a couple months, man. Definitely a blessing to see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been going to. I had went to the Shabbat camp over there, and
How did it work out?
good.
That's good. I can tell you have a sincere love and respect for that word, man. I always remember that about you.
Yes, sir.
You have a very serious demeanor about you.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Get this in Ecclesiastes 10 and 6 real quick and we'll jump back.
Yes, sir.
Because in this time, you know, what's held in high esteem or what's held in great dignity, the scripture's about to let you know. A lot of our men, they don't take themselves seriously. Right? They don't take their nation seriously. They don't fear their power. But one thing about you from the moment that I met you, you had a reverence and a respect for the word. Yes, not only did I see you here, but I saw you on Peachtree. Right? Me and the brother Mike Oliver was here, and we saw this brother on Peachtree doing the same thing he did here. But silently listening to the word while a whole bunch of, you know, nigga shit was going on, but I was able to see this brother has a beautiful spirit. Now you can bring what you got.
Sirach 6 and 17.
Give me Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament 10:4. Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament. Because, hey, you know, the scriptures tell us to seek out the Lord in our youth. You know what I'm saying? Because the time is really short, you know, and a lot of people, they think that their youthful years when they're young are supposed to be spent, you know, satisfying their flesh. When, you know, as men, we have to put away those childish things and start lining up our wants and our desires with thus says the Lord. This is what makes men out of us. You know, being able to discipline ourselves and hearken to instruction. Why you around what you got?
Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Folly is great, is set in great dignity.
They said folly, foolishness. See what I'm saying? How do you niggas want to be rappers, hitting licks, chasing hoes, loose women? That's all foolishness. It's all vanity. Right? Bring this out one more time.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Folly is set in great dignity.
Hey, because, hey, what's held in great dignity in this society? Being a trapper, a shooter, a gang member, right? That's what's held in great dignity. Our women totally destroyed. They don't want to be, as it says in Titus 2 and 3, let the aged woman tell the young women to be good mothers and good wives. They're not trying to submit to one man and raise up children. In this society, what they trying to do? Kill their babies. Betray their man. Right? That's what's set in great dignity. This is why it's an honorable thing. Why you have liberty to take this seriously. To adhere to the word of the Lord coming from his prophets as you do. Right? Read this out one time.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
Hey, bring this out one more time.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Folly is set in great dignity.
Foolishness, that's what's held in high esteem in this society. Why the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. This is what the so-called white man rewards. He don't reward intelligence, he rewards dumb shit. Let you try to have a mixtape. Even in the Israelite community, they try to start rapping this shit to try to appeal to the general population. That when it says white is the way that leads to destruction. You know what I'm saying? It's a straight gate, right? Bring this up.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
And where is our riches lie? In the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We know that we're Israelites. We know that we're chosen. Right? We know that there's a kingdom to come. Look, you can stand in the sun and your skin don't peel like a damn snake. Right? Just our biology, our anatomy bears witness that we're chosen the Most High. But how are we rich? Right? Bring this out in Revelation 2 and 9. Because this wisdom, this knowledge is likened unto rubies and emeralds. Right? The scripture said in Matthew 7 and 6, cast not your pearls before swine. Right? And one thing about a pearl, it's in the oyster, you got to dive deep. A diamond, you got to dig deep. Because, hey, this knowledge is not for the common man. This knowledge is hidden in the earth. So for you to be able to receive it, that's the Most High being merciful unto you. Because there are people that he rejects. Right? He blinds them. Right? They are lost, and that's how he wants them to stay. Why? Because they weren't chosen from the foundation of the earth. Although they are Israelites, although they will be in the kingdom on this side, hey, they finished. They're going to have to follow the same fate of the so-called white man. Right? You can bring out what you got.
Revelations 2 and 9.
It says, thou art rich. The rich sit in a low place. Go ahead.
I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich.
Thou art what?
Thou art rich.
Hey, start over from the top. See, the rich sit in a low place. He said, I know that y'all at the bottom of every path of the society. Socially, economically, y'all women are against you. Your children don't respect you. All your enemies are surrounding you, right? Bring this down one more time.
Revelations 2 and 9. I know thy works, in tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich.
He said, but thou art rich, right? Where do our riches lie? Go ahead.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
Now these are the people that are really physically rich. They are what you call the central bankers, the global elite, right? They have the wealth. They run all major industries, from porn, education, entertainment, the school's curriculum, all major religion. The Jews, they are known to put nations and countries in debt. They run the banking systems, right? But it said the people that say they are rich, well, in essence, in this society, they are rich. You know, they have a nasty reputation. The Jewish, being stingy is a Jewish. Oh yeah, they only spend with each other because that's within the tenets of their law. right? They can't eat. This is the same thing that they do when they say they can only eat food that's kosher, right? It can't be no pork, any animals that are forbidden in our dietary laws. But
That's what I just went to a little camp, a little thing, and they had all that. We ain't supposed to eat. So I ain't gonna lie. I'm dirty myself. I hate to eat myself. That's what I'm working on, though. Right? The pork, I ain't pork in a minute, though, but I ate some pork around like 2 weeks ago. I ain't gonna lie to you.
yeah, hey, that's beautiful that you show people the S on your report card. You know,
Yes, sir.
that's a broken contrite spirit.
And so we got to be clean, though. You right, though. You know, that's certain food we can and like, yes, sir.
That's right. That's what it is to be holy. Holy is to be set apart. Set apart by what? Following those laws. When you go into a restaurant and there's mashed potatoes with gravy, you must inquire if there's pork inside of that gravy. If, you know, the brother, you know, he works a lot, but, you know, he eats out from time to time. And when he goes out to eat, he don't even want his chicken prepared on the surface that pork is being prepared. Because you'll go into a restaurant like Waffle House, you know, in this society, all the food is defiled. Ezekiel 4:13, we got to eat the best of the worst. So sometimes, based upon being in captivity, you might have to go and eat some of this Waffle House trucker food. But you'll see them making sausage patties on the same grill as they'll make the chicken or waffle food. So there's cross-contaminated. Then I see
Same grease. Dipped in the same grease.
the same grease.
Chicken, pork.
You have full-fledged homosexuals making your food,
Right.
men that are unclean. You have women on their monthly cycles making your food. So this is why we must pray over our food. Right? Bring this out in Ezekiel 4:13 for the brother. I quoted it, but you know, this is our riches. This is how we are rich, because we have vision in darkness. Even though we're under attack, we know that we can observe the law. We have the wisdom of the Most High. So although we're under attack, guess what? We can find the least adverse option. Even though you know, we're not telling you to run into McDonald's, we're not telling you to run into Subway or Burger King, but in captivity, sometimes you might have to eat a cheeseburger on your lunch break so you can have the fuel and the nutrients for your body to continue to thrive. But you got to pray over your food, but understand that, hey, Rabbi Finkelstein said it's chopped up bodies. You know, in the United States, they've been having what you call food processing plants burning. But they said in these food processing plants, they went in and they found dead bodies strung up. Dead bodies, and they said one body strung up, and this is why they burned them down. They said that they found bodies inside of bags, but just to let you know that they actually are putting humans inside of these burgers so that they can accuse our power before us. That these people, they're being kind of, you know, because we're under attack, we're prisoners of war. Therefore, we don't control the food supply, the food distribution. We have to get the food from our enemies. And our enemies are doing things that defile the food. Because us being clean brings us closer to our power, right? Bring out what you got, Ezekiel 4:13.
Ezekiel 4:13.
Huh.
And the Lord said, thus, even thus, shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them.
Hey, bring this out one more time and you can edify on that, brother.
Ezekiel 4:13.
Listen to Ezekiel.
And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. So the Lord is telling you, okay, wherever I scatter you, you're going to eat defiled food among the other nations, okay? Because like the brother brought out, the other nations are in charge of the food, and all that you have, you're going to go to them for every one of things, okay? So you don't have your own. We don't even have a seat at the United Nations, you know? We the only one that don't have a seat. Even the Hamites got a seat, right? Okay, so we're not in charge of anything,
That's right.
okay? You look in our communities, everybody owns stuff but us.
That's right.
And when we own stuff, all right,
They're going to profit off us.
they gonna profit off it. Right, exactly, brother.
Right. And just like what you have, the GMO foods, that food is defiled. Why? Because God made plants organic. They have seeds. Meaning, if you eat that plant or that vegetable or that fruit, you should be able to plant that seed in the ground and continue to perpetually produce that which springs forth from the seed. But now what you have is GMO, seedless, everything. That's defiled food. That's organic matter, right? The so-called Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, he's a guy that's known for tech. Microsoft, that's where he got his start. Now he's hopped over into vaccines, and now he's the largest private farmland owner in the United States. He produces all of the onions, the lettuce, the tomatoes for companies like McDonald's, companies like Burger King. And you know, they boasting the value. McDonald's boasts over 1 billion served. They're not gonna say we got the best food, but they're gonna let you know when you get in this line, from the time you get in the line to the time your ass get out, it's gonna be under 5 minutes to show you that they are pushing a lot of this defiled food out of these restaurants, but to let you know it's defiled, back to Bill and Melinda Gates. You know, what is Monsanto? You know, pesticides, herbicides. You know what I'm saying? You should supposed to be able to go out and, just like your great-grandfathers and grandfathers, how they went to fields, they didn't have all of that insecticide, pesticide, herbicide, fungicide. And they just get in the plane and just, you know, relish that over all the vegetables. And then once you eat it, you think that you on your deed. I've been eating vegetables all week, brother. When you taking in all type of pesticides and trace chemicals and things of that nature. And that's an adverse effect of us being in captivity. Like the brother said, going to our enemies for the one of all things. They manufacture, who is Frito-Lay? Who is Hershey? Who is Coca-Cola? These are our enemies, right? You could bring this out in Haggai 1:6. And now with inflation, shrinkflation, right? Shrinkflation, basically they keeping things the same price. Arizona might still be $1, but the bottle, it might take a couple ounces out. Shrinkflation. You know, the bag of chips used to be 25 cents. Now they damn near 2 for $1. And if you open them, you literally got 4, 5, 6 chips in them. And we remember from our childhood, that's all we used to do, get $1. $1 get you a drink, chips. You know what I mean? But now with inflation, that's the price of everything going up. And this is how the Lord is going to judge his people. Why? Because his people are at the bottom socially and economically. Our people have a nasty reputation of being consumers. Why? Because we're at a deficit when it comes down to property ownership, clothes. You know, Jake don't have the sufficient shoes. You know, they say that most of our people, 2/3 of them are one paycheck to being out. So here it is, if a small crisis hits their life, then guess what? They won't have the means to continue to pay for food, clothes, shelter, these different taxes that we have to pay in the society of slaves. Right? So this is the Most High. That's a form of judgment. You know, not being able to put gas in your car. That's to denote this society is suffering the drain. Oh yeah, Lord willing.
That's why I'm pressing time.
All right. Good to see you again, brother.
Sunday?
Lord willing. About the same time.
Same time?
Yeah, man. Be blessed, man. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
Shalom.
have a family event.
All right.
All right, God bless you.
All right, Godspeed, brother. Shalom.
Shalom. Yahweh bless y'all.
Shalom. Right? So with us being in captivity, like I was saying, we don't have any control. We're subject, under, ejection, the rule of entities of the nations that come out of Adam. They all have been given a pedestal or a higher position over us. That's what a stepping stool does. It improves someone's position. And everyone knows when they come to America, they could come amongst the so-called black, Latinos, Native Americans, and guess what? They'll be able to be given a portion. They know that they can't go amongst Esau, Edom, but they know that they could come and lick the wounds of the Israelites, and guess what? We're at such a divided, low-conquered state that we'll even propel them into stability so that they could be the praise among their families back home. Why? You Israelites, y'all are, like the brother was saying, they have incentive to keep us in gross darkness. Why? Because they profit off of it.
You need a step stool for them to step on to get to a acquired level.
That's right.
You know, because they profit off of everything that we do. Even our blood, sweat, and tears for centuries, okay, have been monopolized by our enemies, our talents. You know, there's no question we're the most talented people. We're the salt of the earth. Why we can't never profit from our own talents? That's because they profit off of it. They package it, they profit off of it, and they use it to destroy us at the same time. Okay? All their objectives are met through us.
Woo! Look, when you're dealing with organ harvesting,
Right.
Even though that's
Time.
killing niggas,
Time.
that's giving them life.
Life.
When you're dealing with the abortion clinics, do you
Right.
know how many products are made from these aborted babies?
Time.
I mean, it's a major industry that relies on our people continuing to go into these
Right.
abortion clinics wholesale, killing their babies.
Right.
When you're dealing with the music industry,
Right.
the jail, it's been found out that the music industry, they also invest in jails.
Yep.
Because on the front end, they're promoting music to kill y'all.
Right.
And once you kill each other,
Right.
now they're capitalizing you off of the prison industrial complex. Like the brother said, it's all about you, the white man, isn't creative. At the point that we couldn't work for him for free,
Right.
he said, you know what? Let me start to demonize y'all and find other ways to profit off of y'all. If I can't outright rape you all, let me come up with some cunningly devised fables, like it says in 2 Corinthians 2:11, different devices
Yep.
to continue to give them the idea that they're free, while I still control them in all different aspects of their life. You see what I'm saying? That if you can bring this out in 2 Corinthians 12, you can bring that out in Haggai 1 verse before the brother left.
Time. Haggai 1:6.
Time.
Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
Hey, it said you sown much, but you bring in little. Now that's even more
More so.
profound with, inflation, shrinkflation, hyperinflation,
Okay.
right? This is sowing much, people working hard, and guess what? That every time they think they get to that touchdown,
Right.
the goalposts get moved back. The so-called white man, he'll give you an extension
Right.
on your rent, but all that is more time for you to bring him the money.
Right.
He's not forgiving anything, right? He's not trying to repair the damage, but rather he's trying to pretty much, suppress the poor.
Right.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Right.
It says when the so-called white man catch a cold, Israel gonna catch pneumonia.
Right.
When they're hit with a financial crisis, they can bounce back from it. When Israel, it'll be crippling.
Yep.
When he catches a cold, we catch pneumonia. So just like with inflation, the so-called white man, he doesn't have a problem paying $5 a gallon for diesel fuel.
Right.
All you have to do is go into a savings, sell a couple of acres of stolen land, draw the equity of the houses where they've been redlining. Right? It says when the rich man falls, he has people to help him.
Right.
It said that in the book of Sirach.
Or like I was gonna say, like if something is needed by him, all he does is raise the prices on you.
Right.
Make you pay for it.
Right. It said the price going to trickle down.
Excuse my French, but shit flows downstream.
That shit flows downstream. But look, they don't forgive anyone's debt or anyone's student loans or give them reparations, but they will bail out the banks.
Right.
They will bail out the rich.
Car
So-
industry.
right. So when they say the shit trickles down, no, the people at the bottom, they are left with the burden that these people don't want to deal with.
Right.
They just sprinkle it amongst the bottom. And whenever they're dealt with the burden, you know what I'm saying? The elite, whenever these federal entities or these corporations rather are facing hard times, the elite will get them out to keep that hamster on the wheel turning. Right? You could bring this out one more time.
Haggai 1:6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he hath earned wages. He that hath earned wages, earneth wages to put it in a bag with holes.
It said,
Woo!
he that earneth wages to put it in a bag with holes. Here it is. You trying to hoard your money like the damn dragon, right? You trying to, stack up your shekels like Scrooge McDuck,
Right.
and it's a leak.
Right.
Here it is. You put in 2, you come back later, and it's only 1.
Or half.
You know what I'm saying? You put 10 in, and now you come back tomorrow with another 10, and guess what? You only have 1 left. right? You're hustling backwards.
That math don't make sense. And it's no more apparent for another people on this earth besides Israel.
That's right. And that's a part of the curses. Because in Sirach 11 and 14, get this real quick as it pertains to wealth, as it pertains to money. Because most, our people, they've been so conquered, they don't know what money is. They'll jump over 1,000 pounds of gold to pick up $1,000 with their enemy's face on it. Because true money, hey, you were the first stock, human resources. Right. But true money is wealth, land, cattle. Right. This is what our forefathers had an appreciation for when we were in power. But now this is what subjugated people will use. They call them debt note. Dollar bills. A bill is a debt note. Right? You can bring what you got.
This is Sirach 11 and 14.
Huh. How you doing?
Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord.
Hey, when the Most High told us that we will be the tail and not the head, if we didn't obey those laws, statutes, and commandments that he gave to us, when he said that we would be first fired and last hired, we would have to go to our enemies on the one of all things, and most importantly, all these curses will pursue you and overtake you. See, our people always try to separate and start trying to find some social economical base. Right. Well, let's get our own land. Everything that our forefathers tried and failed. There's nothing new under the sun, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9.
Matter of fact, our forefathers did it better when we came.
Hey,
we so destroyed, we can't even get it together to do it.
Wow. That was our golden age during segregation.
That's right.
When we had to gather together.
At least we understood that.
That's right.
That we had to be separate at that time.
But it was an element of our people that were fighting tooth and nail to be integrated with their open enemy, the so-called white man. They believed that the white man's ice was colder. Right. The white man's water is wetter. Hey, because in this society, the so-called white man would give us the ability to be amongst them in his work, play, spaces, through integration. But a lot of our people, they want his acceptance. They want to be loved. They want to be a member of the family. And that's where, they err. The Most High divided us from the nations. He severed us from the nations and gave us a law. And in our law, he told us to do what? Learn not the way of the heathen and not to make marriages with them. But, get this in Proverbs 3 and 31. One aspect of being subjugated, one aspect of being at the bottom. A lot of people say if we can't beat them, join them. That's a very cowardly, yellow belly approach. But this is most women's sentiments. They're gonna follow power. Right. They're gonna follow who's in authority. Right? But they don't see that the writing on the wall is that, it says, then she that is our enemy in Micah 17. Yeah. She's gonna see the man that she betted her chips against is gonna be erected as the praise of the earth. Right. Just like we know in this time. Just because it seems that the so-called white man is dominating us in all areas of activity, he knows that he's languishing at this time. They're over damn near $19 trillion in debt. They have a worldwide negative birth rate. Right wing, left wing, Republican, Democrat, a nation that cannot stand being divided. They're on the way out. But a lot of our people there of that Psalms 49 and 11, they're inward thought. And that this white man is just the toughest thing since creation. And that his stronghold in the earth is firm. When we see the Most High is slowly taking it out of his grip. You can grab what you got. Go out.
Proverbs 3 and 31.
Huh.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the fraud is an abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous.
Hey, that's that Amos 3 and 7. Right? The Most High reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets, the righteous, the men of this nation, who are the flock of his pasture. Right? This word is sent out to the men. Why? Because 1 Corinthians, I believe it's 11 and 3, says the head of every woman is the man. That's why men have to get in order in this time. Men have to prepare their spirits. Men have to bend the knee. And guess what? The Most High said the portion of a righteous man is a righteous woman. That's the first step. Right? Bring this out in Proverbs 11 and 21. But like it said in Proverbs 3 and 31, envy thou not the oppressor. If we can't beat him, we join him. No, you're not supposed to envy him. You're supposed to know that, hey, everything that he's gotten is through injurious measures, filthy lucre. right? Unrighteous dealings and decrees, rape, robbery, theft, right? That's like someone, everything that they've acquired, they've gotten it through bloodshed.
Right.
Well, do you envy that person? Nothing that they got was through hard work, ingenuity.
Right.
Nothing that they got was, you know, on the right-hand side. Just like the manifest destiny.
Right.
That is true, right? That's just a euphemism for us falling away from the curses, and the Most High told us that He'll set a foolish nation over us. Right? Matter of fact, bring this out in Deuteronomy 32 and 21, then you can come right back. The Most High told us,
Right.
if you don't obey to do these laws, statutes, and commandments, He told us the type of attributes and characteristics of the nation He'll set over us. Right? And He's not a man that He should lie. Right? And this is why, you know, our people aren't mindful of the scourges. They don't have an identity as far as their biblical nationality is concerned. Therefore, everything that they go through, every obstacle that they're facing, hey, they are going to find the wrong, you know, measures or the wrong ideas. How you doing, brother? They're going to find the wrong decisions to resolve the issues, because they're always going to find the reason or the source of the problem to be something outside of them.
Right. Anything other than what the Lord said.
That's right. Well, my woman is afflicting me. Hey, that's the Most High. He's the Father of spirits. Right? All harmony, peace, balance comes from Him. Affliction comes from Him. Oh, my boss, the white man. You're going to be blaming everybody other than, you know.
We just read it in Sirach 11 and 14.
Right. Prosperity and adversity, life and death. It all comes from the Most High. You know, even Job, he told his woman, you think only good is supposed to come from the Most High? He had an understanding of balance, that the Most High chastens who He loves. But He's not going to leave us or forsake us. The fact that we're here is the fact that the Most High is still merciful and being long-suffering with us. Right?
Deuteronomy 32 and 21. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God.
And it said they, being the children of Israel, have moved our power to jealousy, which is an attribute that we have even in our personality.
Right.
An aspect of our personality is having this characteristic. This is balance. It said that we provoked our power to jealousy.
Right.
Why? Because jealousy is the wrath of a man. The Most High is married unto us, just like a loving husband is to a wife.
Right.
But how, just like in this society, when we commit spiritual idolatry, we go worshiping things, following the lust after our heart, hey, our power gets jealous. He gets frustrated the same way if our woman was not following our instruction. If she was usurping our authority, outright betraying us and putting us to shame, as we have and as we do as a people, as a nation. Right? That provoked him to jealousy. Right? Bring this out, brother.
Deuteronomy 32 and 21.
Right.
They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people.
With those that are what?
Which are not a people.
Ooh, get this in 2 Ezra 6 and 54. It said that He will provoke you to jealousy with those that are not a people. Meaning He doesn't recognize the so-called 17 other nations that come out of battle. And guess what? All these nations that have had the Lord's people in subjection, He said that He's going to provoke us to jealousy by those which are not a people. Right? Envy not the oppressor. Envy, jealousy, those are synonymous. When we see them having all of the wealth, they get jealous. There's something called divesting, where our women are actually starting to date among the other nations, because they see that, hey, the so-called Israelite man is not competitive in these different industries like the nations, because we've been devoured. So they get provoked to jealousy. They want to have the substance like the women of the other nations. They want to have the material possessions and the material wealth, the stability, the peace of mind. So what do? Envy the oppressor. They get jealous of the possessions of the dominant society. And that was the Most High determination. He said, y'all make me jealous every day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow y'all to be in poverty, but in the same time, I'm going to allow y'all to see gross wealth. I'm going to put y'all in this metropolis where at the top floor, this guy is so rich, he can't spend all his wealth in in this generation, but I'm gonna juxtapose him and put him parallel to the nigga down at the bottom on the street that's laying there for dollars, smelling like, smelling like sacrilege, defecation. I'm gonna allow that person at the bottom to pass by that person with great wealth. I'm gonna provoke them to jealousy. I'm not just gonna put them in a poor man's enclave. I'm not just gonna keep them separated, the rich and the poor. Now I'm gonna have them living right, blended in together, so that my people, the poor, can get a taste of what I have to deal with every day with them. Every day, provoking me to jealousy. Right? Think around what you got.
Oh, this is 2nd Ezra 6 and 54.
Come.
And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam.
Hey, because in Deuteronomy 32 and 21, he said that he'll provoke us to jealousy with them which are not a people. Here in 2nd Ezra 6 and 54 says, as for the other people that come out of Adam. Because out of Adam, you have 18 nations of men. 18 nations of men, right? But out of these 18 nations, the Most High chose one nation to be his people, right? One nation. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. He had 12 sons. These are the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Revelation 7 and 4, Revelation 7 and 9, this is that 12 times 12, 144,000 men out of every tongue, out of every nation, right? But it said, as for the other people that come out of Adam, as far as the other 17 nations that come out of Adam, that are not a part of this 18 nation, right? Those that are not a people, right? Go ahead.
As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
That they are what?
They are nothing.
And he said they are not a people in Deuteronomy 32 and 21. Here it's saying that they are what?
They are nothing.
Go ahead.
But be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them, unto a drop of and has likened the abundance of them,
a whole lot of them,
unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Hey, they are not a people. The Most High is only dealing with his chosen in this time. Get this in Isaiah 40 and 15. This is an aspect of the Most High dividing the nation and being chosen. This is what those Ashkenazi, Khazar, Korean Jews boast about being a chosen people, and no one has a problem with it as they go through the earth and exercise racism. We exercise power in the name of being God's chosen people. But just like it says in Isaiah, we're standing on our feet and exceeding great army. Right. We're saying that we're the chosen. And the nations, they are terrified. Because we're going to be a terror unto Egypt, as it says in prophecy. Right. You can bring what you got.
Isaiah 40 and 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance.
Hey, they are counted as the small dust of the balance. Go ahead.
Behold, he taketh the isles as a very little thing.
He said he taketh up the isles as a very little thing, right? It said that they are like a drop that falleth from a bucket. Like they'd be like under spittle. Just refuge. Get this in 2nd Ezra 5 and 23, right? But the fact of the matter is, the nations, the Most High is not dealing with them, but he set them over us for our disobedience, because we provoked him to wrath. We provoked him to jealousy. And he made good on his word. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, is a very crucial chapter and book in as far as our